Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to the EUMANS Weekly Meeting. It's our focus is Warsaw, so I will not do a long summary of the previous editions. I just want to say that tonight we're going to keep the meeting very brainstorming style. And this is because I'm still working on the presentation that we went through last week, which is going to be the pitch of the Warsaw Congress for our guests and the people that we want to invite, but I need some time to make it a bit better and effective, the presentation, so we are not going to review that tonight. I just want to summarize that the key areas upon which we will build the program of the Congress will be, on one side, the end-of-life decisions field and the cannabis topics, because in this way the Congress can also become an opportunity to gather the European attention toward what is going to happen after the Congress in Italy with the 2 referendum campaigns. Another important update is that, with the help of Carla, who is working with me here in Brussels, I see her, Carla.
Hello. Hello.
We developed the first proposal for a European not a European citizen initiative, but for a European angle on the euthanasia and end-of-life decisions, which is in the line of the portability of civil rights area of humans. And I think what we can discuss tonight are 2 things. On one side, since Maria Pia is based in Warsaw, I would like to understand with her a bit the situation from her perspective and how we can use her presence in Warsaw to prepare the Congress. And I'm thinking in particular about the location. Last week with Marco, we had the meeting with the embassy, the Italian embassy in Warsaw, and it was very helpful also to understand the scenario on the ground. And I think the original idea of having the Congress in a university is more difficult than what we thought. For political reasons, of course, not for political reasons, but like we want the Congress to still be a political opportunity, and so academic institutions might not be the best place to be because of their relationship with the government and so on. And the second thing that I would like to discuss is to have a bit of a brainstorming on how to present the Congress, but also how to communicate, particularly on the EUMANS website, the Congress in Warsaw. And Roberto is with us tonight as always, but like to see, we don't have a lot of resources, as you know, for the Congress, so we need to be creative and do what we can do by ourselves. So you all have seen the EUMANS website and the communications of EUMANS, so I think we can use tonight to see what we need for sure to have updated on the website and in our communication strategy, so that we can show who we are and what we do in a better way. Last but not least, let's start to have this save the date in mind. On the 16th of December, we will have the quarterly EUMANS members assembly, which is going to be our opportunity, ideally, to share the initial program of the Congress and the concept note and everything. So, and maybe to have some invitees with us in the assembly in itself. Important political update. This morning, Lorenzo and myself presented the idea for a European citizen initiative on cannabis legalization to a network of organizations that is already gathered of European groups, and who is of course particularly interested in what we have done in Italy, not we, but like Associazione Luca Coscioni and everyone did in Italy for the referendum. And there is a concrete possibility to, if not launching, having a very advanced stage for a European citizen initiative on cannabis legalization in Warsaw. So the 2 pillars are already there, And so there is space for this strong action in Warsaw, which of course is going to be a big move in the pan-European field playing ground when it comes to civil liberties. So I would open the debate. Let's keep it very informal. Tonight is just for sharing ideas on how to promote the Congress, what we need to change on the website and in our communication, what we need to have besides the presentation to describe what is EUMANS, what we do and our initiatives, and also to hear a bit from Maria with regards to the on-the-ground situation in Poland. That's it. So the floor is for all of you.
Okay, I guess. What I can say is that here you don't feel tension of any type. And I agree with you about finding is really difficult finding contact inside university. I can investigate, however, in order to find some specific personalities that can be useful for us. At least that can have ideologies similar to us. And also, I would like to ask you help in entering contact with activists and LGBT, for example, LGBT community here in Warsaw, because I feel that people are really suspicious. So if you know any personality and that and if I can be useful here in a practical way, so.
I have a question for you. When you say suspicious, like, did you speak with anyone about what we are trying to do, or it's more like it's difficult to connect with activists? Like, describe if you can describe the suspiciousness.
Well, I have spoken with some of my colleagues, with the open-minded ones, obviously, and they say that, for example, LGBT community is like in a ghetto here. So they are suspicious with people that enter from the outside. So it can be useful entering contact with someone that is a middle between me and these people.
Okay, what I can tell you is two things. So one of the contacts that we have is with the pro-abortion movement. But I need to do first an outreach myself. I didn't reach out to them yet. So I will do a first step and then connect them with you, or maybe in the same outreach. And with the LGBT community, so in general, and also to remind ourselves the process, the idea is to try to organize during our Thursday meetings different focus with, in general, European activists, not only Polish activists on the different issues. For the LGBT movement, I was in Bologna on Saturday, and I met the local lesbian organization, which is part of a network called European and Asian Lesbian, I don't know what, I don't remember, EALC. So I will connect with them to ask the contact for the European network, and through that we can see if they can connect us with the Polish community. But I think also if you can understand a bit how the ghetto function, it can be helpful. And going to the second point of the agenda for tonight, I think whatever idea we have to show on the website that we are real people with real initiatives and real political activism background, I think it can be helpful exactly for what Maria Pia is describing, like how we showcase that we are not an entity, or that we are real people with real democratic and civil rights interests. I think this is quite important. Robbie, I know you have prepared something, so maybe do you want to share with us? Sì.
Okay, sorry. Thanks, Virginia. I apologize if I will read quite badly, I think, my speech, but since we are in a meeting in English, and since I care a lot about what I'm to talk about, I prefer to write it for now to read it. Virginia, first of all, I must congratulate you for having put on the agenda a topic that I think is central in the phase of approaching the Warsaw Congress. The EUMANS.eu site and the digital tools of EUMANS, Agora, our forum, social network, Slack, and Wiki, and etc. The question arises, why are these arguments central? Answer, quite simple. People who may be interested in exploring the planet EUMANS will first use a search engine, probably Google, and fortunately, our site will appear as the first result, a particular not negligible. Our site is also, but not only, our business card. Answers, or rather should answer, the fundamental questions about humans: who we are, what we do, what we want to go, where we want to go, the latest initiatives, the videos of our meetings, the places for discussion, and everything that digitally interfaces with humans. From all these points of view, I would like not to say we are on the high seas. Noi siamo in alto mare proprio. Detto italiano, devo dire una piccola digressione. The site is not updated as it should, articles, communications, meetings on Zoom, and the fundamental texts are too elementary and simplistic and cannot really give a soul to humans, merely evoking through some adjectives, pan-European, participatory, non-violent, etc., declinations of the revolutionary significance of humans, which is not an electoral subject and yet does politics, absolutely insufficient and synthetic. Yet both the site, the Agora forum, Slack, and the social channels are powerful tools which we cannot overlook. The Polish, Spanish, Hungarian, or Italian civil rights activists who should be intrigued by humans after exploring the site remains indifferent for the most part. The soul of humans is missing, all too bureaucratic. Content is the king, say the communication gurus. We have neglected this, preparing an integrated platform of several tools, but only partially putting contents up to the ambitions and perspectives of humans. We have been aware of these critical issues for not a short time, so much so that a few months ago, the creation of a laboratory for the digital soul of humans was experimented. Well, this laboratory had begun to function, and albeit as at an embryonic level, we were beginning to identify skills and responsibilities, as well as the pleasure of working together connected. Unfortunately, for some months, this laboratory of ideas and also operational has stopped having dedicated meetings. This is because we are few and often occupied by other emergencies. My proposal is firstly to restore the meetings of the site and instruments group with a frequency of 2 meetings a week. And secondly, to spread the news that the group exists and that it operates, in order to involve other members of humans, both to implement the technical tools and to develop the editorial ones. Then YouTube, the production of humans contents, the debate and the news sources themselves are first of all developed during the meetings on Zoom, which are then published on YouTube. Well, until now, we have absolutely neglected our YouTube channel, preferring other social networks such as Facebook or Instagram, which for even's sake are very invalid but we shouldn't allow ourselves to underestimate the social channel from which the mainstream of our communication passes, YouTube. Last but not least, I want to talk about the enrollment problem. There are very few, and they not increase even in periods of great mobilization. I think this is very serious. We should ask ourselves why this happens, just as we should ask ourselves why many people who in the past months had also approached the planet humans, after a while they moved away from it. Surely there are also reasons attributable to our faults in the management of relationships with members or in the management of our meetings. I think it's also urgent to question this central point. I hope it was not too long, and thank you for your attention, and sorry, very sorry for my pronunciation.
Thank you, Robbie. So first, a very practical question. Are you suggesting to meet twice a week for Sight and Instrument?
Until the Warsaw Congress.
Okay. Okay. Bye, Laura.
Okay, we'll try to give my 2 cents to this brainstorming session. To be honest, I think some of the things that Roberto was pointing out are good points. I mean, of course, we have to improve communication in the website and in social network, and probably to focus everything, let's say almost everything, on Varsavia is a good idea, because we are conceiving Varsavia as a presentation itself of the human movement. So a communication built on why Varsavia is Warsaw is the good place for being for building a pan-European movement, a founding congress of a pan-European movement is probably the best idea. I mean, it doesn't mean, what I'm trying to say is that focusing our energies on rebuilding, refacing, restyling the website and social network, not only mainstream social network, but only the channels that we use for our internal communication on Warsaw. It's part of the building of Warsaw in itself, because it's not only something internal, this Congress. If we show that Warsaw has a meaning for a pan-European movement, so it would be great a video on that, the place for a pan-European movement to rebuild Europe from citizens, something like that. I don't have clear idea, it's just really pure brainstorming. I think we should see how we don't spread too many energies in 2 separate things, but the communication of Warsaw and the communication of humans, also the campaign for a subscription, goes in the same way. I think this could be a way of considering it. Maybe I'm not saying this in the best way because I have to clear my idea myself, but it's just a suggestion. And also, apart from this, I think that being, of course, this is a bit an utopia, but being there even before the Congress could be a very good idea. We all know, we're reading news and we know why Poland is at the center of news in last months and years, but especially in recent weeks. So a way to see that we are there and we know we should start from and we're already doing this, but we should start from the networking with the local organizations. But I think we should foresee a step there even before the Congress. But we have many things, but I know that Marco already went there once, and it could be symbolically meaningful to do something there, because the only Italian politician who went to Warsaw was Salvini. It could be interesting for people to see that he's not the only, and there are not only propaganda reasons for being there. So okay, I don't have a clear idea of my proposition. Is just ideas at the moment. I think that Roberto is pointing out something useful, that we should improve communication and maybe discuss it. Maybe we can do it also within to start that, okay, like we are doing today in a Thursday meeting. This is just a brainstorming. We can do it next time in a more structural way, but the discussion about the instrument maybe is not that separate from the discussion on the content in this moment, because we have to prepare the best communication and the best tool, website, everything for the Congress itself. So it's something that is needed for Warsaw. Okay, I'm not sure I'm explaining myself, because I also have a little bit of headache, but I am trying to collect some of Roberto's suggestions to see how we can put this in practice without that this could be another task, but make it part of the job we are already doing for the preparation of the Congress.
Thank you, Lorenzo. I don't know if Martin, as I said last week, I always trust a lot the opinion of who joined more recently. 1 second, that Tiala is joining us as well, so let's have her. Oh, Tiala and Ines. Hi, ladies. Hello.
Hi.
Oh.
Sorry.
So short summary, so you know where we are. So tonight we are focusing more on a brainstorming on the what we should change in the EUMANS website and communication, or what we should pay attention to, so that when people search for EUMANS and the Congress, have the best idea possible and understanding of who we are, what we do, why we do it. We started from two perspectives. The first one was from Maria Pia, who is connected from Warsaw physically. So she's based there, and this is a very precious resource to have someone that is on the ground. And I mean, without referring to the website, but she was saying like how it might be difficult to connect with local activists if they don't know who we are and what we do. So this was a first input, plus the need of connections. And then Roberto Mancuso, who is the activist who probably, I would say, the first EUMANS activist after me and Cappato, but he built, we worked together on the current website and the instruments that currently EUMANS have available. And Roberto was in a very strong way, but honest, reminding us how currently the website is not updated. There is a need of a revamp, and for different reasons. And Lorenzo was helping us to put to thinking on how, when we communicate Warsaw and what we communicate about Warsaw and what we want to do, should go hand in hand on what we need to have on the website. My coordinator responsibility also forced me to remind us that whatever we have done so far with EUMANS and whatever we will do is mainly done because of activists and volunteers who put effort into that. So we need to make plans that are achievable with the resources that we have. So, I mean, it's impossible to imagine to redo the entire website. I just want to say this already. And also, I think the structure that the website has is logical. It's about which content we need to write, in my opinion, and how we connect the different pieces of content. I think this is what is realistic to do more than inventing new functions and new features. Roberto was also suggesting to have dedicated meetings for the cited instruments, which is something that we did in the past and we stopped doing also over the summer because we were engaged in the referendum campaign and other things. I was giving the floor to Martina, but maybe Ines and Tiara, since you are also...
No,
yeah.
No, I was just having a look at the website now, and I wanted to ask you, when you say that there is no need for like changing the website, do you mean also like the layout, or like, for example, making it a bit more visual, or more in terms of content?
Exactly. What I'm saying is that I think if we go down the visual road and the template and everything, in my opinion, if I have to listen to my own energy and the collective energy, I think it's a dangerous path, because then redesigning completely, it's very difficult, and we don't have enough, unless some of you are up to that. But in my opinion, it's better to have clear content in that framework and update some sections rather than redoing everything. That's my instinctive thing. I'm aware that there are 3 things that are missing: the who we are, but really who we are, like not who as an entity, who as humans with H toward the humans without H, Michael Cappato, the history of activism that we have, the type of people that are moved by this idea. I think that who is missing. I think the second part that is missing is the update on the initiatives. Like some initiatives are really evolving and there are really a lot of things happening. I'm thinking about the whole sortition-based citizen assemblies in Italy, but also in Europe with Citizens Take Over Europe. I'm thinking about the carbon pricing in the broader sense, like the way how we carried on the initiative, the mayors, the European Parliament, the Commission. I mean, we did a lot of work there that is not represented. The end-of-life decisions, I think it should have a dedicated, stronger position. So the initiatives, I think it's the second part that needs to be updated. But thirdly, we need to have content that explain why we are going to Warsaw. It can be interviews with activists, it can be articles, analysis. So I think these 3 elements are, in my opinion, the essential assets of our communication strategy, so that people arrive there, see that we're going to Warsaw, see that they're going to Warsaw to do certain things, and also we can have a bit of a political injection of things. But to be honest, I realize myself that when I talk about humans with people, people get it and are interested, but the website doesn't represent this at all. So these are my considerations.
But for example, I mean, just like since we are brainstorming for the who are we part, would you like to have like more a description, or more, for example, like companies, enterprises that have like our team pictures, what we do, just like thinking.
I think it's both, like the who we are, it's a bit who we are, but also we had a bit of conversations in the past on these topics, also in the meetings that Roberto was saying, like, for example, who are the members of EUMANS? So who are the people that are preparing the Warsaw Congress? Or who are the more active activists? Like, we need to have something that it's a bit both, like theoretically, practically, and physically. But I don't know, like, it's also what would you like to see, or what do you think would be helpful?
Sorry. Yeah, no, I think that it would be very beneficial to, I don't know if you can hear us.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, it would be very beneficial to have some more personalized introductions of some like team members, like the most active ones or whatever, to kind of have more of a human contact, because it's still activism. So it's nice to have faces and not just an entity. So I think it's a really good idea actually to include that.
And also perhaps to include like to update the initiatives, not only to update them when you like click on them actually, but have this like news like button. I think it should be easy to have just the news to update people, and to mention that we're like active in Poland, that we're gonna do this action there. Just have this like very big news like on the front page and be like, this is what we're doing, this is when it's happening, and this is how you can link with us or something like this.
Okay. Okay, who is good in writing content? Ines? Whoa, okay. With confirmation from Tiala. So, okay. 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 This is very interesting. No, because I think we need to, and also I think Lorenzo is, there is an activist in Italy who is called Gabriele, who might be interested in helping out with the communication actions. So maybe, for example, Ines and Gabriele can help me with Roberto to actually write the content, to put together the materials, because we have plenty of things that are scattered here and there. So it's about putting them together. And of course, for some of you who are new, is more difficult because maybe you don't have the background story, but you are starting to see how it works, what we did, how we are doing it. So that's definitely important. And the other important thing is the calendar of the meetings, to understand, because ultimately the meeting is the key, as Roberto was saying, is the key moment of how we conceive the initiative, how we move from one step to the other. So the more we are able to show that there is a meeting, or there was a meeting, and the key topics discussed and things like that is quite important. Sorry if I'm delayed, but I really have this headache. It's killing me, so I'm trying to survive until the end of the meeting. I'm finalizing the presentation. I'm a bit stuck on the to make it what last week we said we want to show first what we were able to do, like the euthanasia and cannabis referendum. But and this is also important for the website, in my opinion, is that I don't want it to be like, look how cool we are. So I'm trying to think what could be a catchy way to show it without having a paper on the value of those two initiatives. So if it's more the numbers of the people that were involved, if it's more the impact that this can have, like, oh, and we have Gabriele as well, so. So any idea that you have in terms of how to showcase what we were able to do so far? If it, for example, might be a short video that tells the story, or if it's more like, but also video is quite complicated, it's even more difficult than redoing the website. So I don't know, I open this for debate. Also, if you have in mind any organization that has a nice way to present their activities, actions, goals.
I think that numbers are always impactful. It's a good visual way for people to see the impact you can have. I don't think it's necessarily braggy or like, oh, look how cool we are, because I think it's important to show that like humans is actually a real thing. Like, you know, we have an impact, we can do stuff, we just need like more people to join in. And yeah, I think it could be good. Like even the presentation in the first slide, like just have the numbers of those referendums could be really good.
Yeah, it could also be featured like on this news button, or just be like, what have we been doing? What have we been working on? And these are what we are proposing. And I feel if we frame this, both topics are like quite controversial sometimes in society. If we just show the positive impacts that they can have, like it could, you know, maybe like make people think of this topic in a new way, in the new light. It's all about framing, in my opinion.
Ciao Gabriele, welcome.
Ciao, ciao. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Fine. I couldn't participate before because I had to go out and it's raining, so, but now I'm here.
Okay. We were brainstorming about what we could do with the existing website, ideally. But not only website, but starting from the website, which, as Roberto says, is the thing that people see about humans, to showcase who we are, what we do, and the fact that we are going to also. So how to, what needs to be there so that a person that arrives on the website get an idea, a clear idea of not only the what, why, and how, but also the energy and the revolutionary power of what we're trying to do, which is pretty revolutionary, to be honest.
Yeah, I need to study a little bit, but I think that the main thing is to become a source of information and news. So like a journal, we should give all the bits of information piece to piece, like explaining the problem and the way to solve it, and what does a human do to solve it. I don't know if it's already there, but this is my idea for the best way to frame, like the person that was speaking before said. Yeah, this.
Also, for a reference for everyone, for example, Gabriele is very active in the campaign in Italy for the sortition-based citizen assemblies bill of popular initiative. So Gabriele, can you make an example of this? Like, imagine we have a news section that we can update. Can we try to imagine how this thing that you just said would apply to the website when it comes to sortition-based citizen assemblies?
For example, we could start making some kind of articles explaining the problem, not just directly giving the solution, but first of all explain the problem and what does this problem cause, in a way to wake a sort of consciousness of the fact that that is a problem. So yeah, and maybe you just said that, but making some kind of videos, of course, it's the best way to do so. Making it with the face of somebody could be useful, not just a voiceover on images. So be more focused on yeah, like a sort of a news redaction. So to work on the news and on information mainly explaining the problem and the way to solve it with the articles and videos.
Okay, thanks. So I see in the chat that Martina asked if we do have a newsletter. Okay, so technically we don't have a newsletter. It was a format that we discussed, the monthly newsletter. Then we stopped to work on that also because of the summer changes. What I can say though is that the way usually how we communicate is that we do have a database of contacts, which is split into people that are interested in the weekly meetings. So technically those that are more potentially active, and the generic database. But usually, when I remember, but usually we send a weekly email that basically says the topic of the meeting or what we are going to discuss in the meeting. What Cappato encourages both me and Lorenzo to do is to try to politicize that. So that is not just, you know, a meeting to talk about the website, but it's also a way to say, let's say, look at what is happening on the border between Poland and Belarus. It's a representation of the interest of national governments against the interest of, like, I mean, to put, not to come up with a story, but to give a political context to then what we do with the practice of our activism. So I think, given that the Congress in Warsaw is in 4 months, maybe, I don't know how helpful is a monthly newsletter at this stage, but maybe if we could work better on the narrative that week on week we build, like, let's say we have for example, it's very likely that on the 9th of December, we will have the weekly meeting focused on the cannabis legalization, because we already have some activists and organizations interested in the topic. So for example, for that week, how we contextualize that meeting in the context of the Congress in Warsaw, and what is the story that we tell to present that meeting, can be a way to keep our audience kind of following the story toward Warsaw. So it can become a sort of every week you have one episode of the Congress in Warsaw based on where we are. The only problem is that if I am the one writing it, organizing it, and blah, 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 then I get lost because I'm a human being and not a superhero. But if together we come up with how this can work, then it becomes a collective story, a collective narrative, and something also that people might want to follow, because it's like, okay, this week they're talking about cannabis in the context of Europe. Next week they're talking about abortion. What does it mean? And it goes hand in hand with the networking actions and other initiatives.
Can I say something? Something else, Virginia?
Vai, Robbie.
Thank you. I think that the central proposal of my speech is to recreate, to restore a team for all these problems. We can say a lot of things about communication, about the website, about social networks, about the newsletter, as we are doing now in the chat. But the problem is, how Virginia was saying, the persons who do the things, will do the things. So I think it is necessary a team of EUMANS members which sorry for my English, but this is my limit.
Robbie, is better than your written one.
Work all together with the responsibilities, with skills. This is the central proposal of my speech. Okay, we can think a lot of fantastic things about the site and so on. I agree with Virginia, which have no sense to restructure the site. But as I said, the most important thing is the content. Our content are not the same things. Don't reproduce what humans is. There isn't the soul, the human soul, the animal soul, the humans, and so this is the problem. I was speaking of the activist, Polish activist, which hear someone speaking about humans. So he will go on Google searching humans, and what he will
Yeah, no, it makes sense. The only problem with the team is that we are the team. So the reality is that this is the team until it expands. So then we might have someone who has a bit more time to write than attending a meeting or something like that. But I think, in my opinion, for the moment, who is in the Slack channel towards Warsaw is the team that is working into the Warsaw Congress. And at this stage, the Warsaw Congress and humans are, exactly as Lorenzo was saying, are the same thing. I think all of us have different skills and capabilities. So I think the more we share on Slack the things that can be done and how it can be done and who can do what, the more this goes on. And then we could even have this meeting to be a bit more political, because we will have, as I said, for example, for the cannabis, like if there is a session on cannabis legalization and the political elements of that, or one on the rule of law, maybe at the beginning of January, that is the meeting. And then we might have a second meeting for more the practical things, so that the weekly meeting doesn't become too practical. It depends. And it's the first time, to be honest, from now on, that we have a regularity on the English side of humans. So far, we have to say we were more focused on the Italians making humans happen. Now we are trying to do this transformation, so it's not that easy. And when we will have the translators, I think this will help as well, to have more of the Italians activists to show up and be less scared of this. But I think we need to organize the workflow in such a way that it's shared. So my problem is that I'm always behind with what I am supposed to do. But I think this should be the way forward. Like how, in my opinion, is how we review the who of the website and the update of the different initiatives, the landing page of the Congress, and then the weekly narrative that we can have with the newsletter to make more clear how you subscribe to the newsletter. Then the newsletter is just, right, once a week we tell you how we're building our way toward Warsaw, why we're going to Warsaw, and to do what. And have that short thing that comes out a bit more clear, so that people that can come to the meeting can access the recording of the previous meeting if they want. And people listen to recordings of meetings. It seems crazy, but people have this interest. And the build up of the different weekly meetings. For example, if each person is in charge of organizing one weekly meeting, let's say abortion rights, okay, I'm collecting a few activists across the EU that are focused on abortion rights. That person can invite the people to the meeting, as well as write the draft of the message that will be sent out. Ciao, Robbie. We'll catch up on Slack. But maybe this can be a methodology that can work, because everyone is in charge of a topic and the output of that. It could be a way. Whilst maybe someone else, like, I don't know, Ines, but like if you really want to work with me on the content of the website, we can work together on that, but it's shared on Slack, which is transparent, so everyone can see what's going on, so this could be a way. So it's 5 to 7, Roberto and Lorenzo left and my head is exploding. So my suggestion is quick final round of ideas and the feedback and stuff, and to make sure that all of you have access to Slack.
Yeah, I think I am not in Slack yet, but
I'm gonna share the invite here in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. My last point is that maybe I'm not an expert of newsletter efficiency, so I don't know how many people actually do read them, but in my opinion, this kind of format could switch to other social media. So the same content that in a newsletter will be, it could be, for example, created in a sort of YouTube video or other social media format. So in the same way that you were saying, Virginia was saying, of the monthly time that the people will follow, this could be made on other social media. So to me, it would be interesting to let flow this kind of information in other, maybe not only in the newsletter, but even in other ways, forms. What do you think?
Yes, like there is a saying that is like that content is, okay, sorry if this is politically incorrect, but I don't know if you know that pig is a type of animal that you eat everything out, like every part of a pig can be transformed in prosciutto, salame, and a lot of stuff. So technically, the way of saying is that content is like pig. You can have one content and use it in multiple ways. So you can have a content which is salame, content which is prosciutto, content which is lardo di colonnata, and whatever. So basically, I think if we conceive the key pillar of the week around the topic of the week, then out of that we can take the social media content around it, etc., etc.
Or even a podcast. I don't actually listen to podcasts, but I know they are very popular now. So we could, transform this newsletter into a podcast.
Yes, maybe for that. Sorry, my criteria is also the sustainability of our own lives. This is you didn't do a lot of meetings with us, but I have a theory about the sustainability of the life of an activist. But maybe we could do one podcast or two, like a few that are sort of a summary, maybe the best of the meetings that we have with the different activists that we invite, or something like that. So that is like review the preparation of also in 15 minutes of the best of. We already have some, like we did meeting with the judge, the Monika Frakowiak from Justicja Polska, for example. That was plenty of insights and perspective from Poland. So maybe that can be, maybe let's focus on the foundations now, which is the who we are of the website, the update of the initiatives, so that is more reflective, and the way how we present the Congress in Warsaw. Once we have that, we can maybe come up with new content, and at the same time we can better prepare the announcement of the Thursday meetings. So we don't have a topic for next week, but we already know we're gonna have cannabis on the 9th, but I'm waiting for confirmation. Because guys, the other thing is that confirmation and people joining and exercise is a bit difficult to plan, but maybe we can make a collective effort on this. Okay, so we'll meet on Slack.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Wow.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Yeah.